Hi, I'm Trevor Lund from RevTrev.com, and into this episode of RevTrev TV, we are talking again with Joanna Penn of thecreativepenn.com. And we got into discussion last time about publishing on the Kindle and about the whole marketing aspect of it, marketing your books. And Joanna helps people, helps writers to know, how to write, how to get it edited, how to do the formatting, how to get the book cover, how to do all that stuff, and how to sell and make money by selling books. And so it's a real pleasure for me to be talking with her today and to pick her brains on things that she's already answered questions that I never knew I had. So, Joanna, welcome.
Thank you.
So this time, how do you market your book? And let's talk about it like you talked about when we write, you got to think about who you're writing to, who's your final customer. So this is throughout the whole process, I guess. How do you market your book so that it sells?
Okay, well, before we even go anywhere near like social media and all of that stuff, let's just talk about the basics. I mean, clearly, when you think about your audience, and if we're thinking fiction or non-fiction, I really want people to go to a big, the big online bookstore is Amazon. So go to Amazon and look at the categories that are available to put your book under. So because you have to think about these boxes. Now in fiction it's called genre. So you have to think about where will my book sit? And if you're pitching to a publisher, it's the same thing. You have to say, where does my book sit on the bookshelf? So for example, I say my books are Dan Brown meets Lara Croft, which is, the kind of religious thriller with a kick-ass heroine, archaeology, religion, that type of thing. So people know what I'm talking about. And as I said, I sit in religious fiction and action adventure. Both of those categories work for me. Now, for your book, you have to have a look at, well, where is it going to sit? And then you have to deliver on the promise to the reader. So that's like the first one. Otherwise, you're going to get crappy reviews and your book won't get past first base, basically. Yeah. So that's number one. Next thing, you need a really good cover, because most people are buying online and the cover is really important. You have to optimize it for, the tiny little thumbnail size that people see, especially if you're selling ebooks on the Kindle, because a lot of people will browse and they only see a tiny cover. So don't put little tiny text or tiny little things, make it bold. So that's important. So categories, okay, the next thing is you need to do really good blurb. So the blurb on your website or on the Amazon page has to entice people in. And you'll see from, for example, my page, I include reviews in the blurb because people want to know what other people think. Right, so it's a really good idea to put that in there. The next thing is you really need book reviews on your Amazon. And when I say Amazon, I also mean Barnes & Noble, Apple, iBookstore, Goodreads, whatever the page is where your book is. You need to have book reviews. Now, I do this by, as you had a free copy because you enjoyed the first one. And so I say to my audience, if anyone would like a free book, and please write me a review. If you don't like it, no worries. But in that way, you can get your reviews going. And all of those things together will impact how Amazon and Barnes & Noble and that will actually sell your book for you. So that's like critical stuff to have in place before you do any of the other stuff that we can do. Does that make sense?
It does. Now, when I was just thinking, like I found on my blog that if I have 2 people comment, I'm going to have 40 people comment. If I have nobody comment, no one's going to comment. So if you get a few people to do reviews, do you find you get more, or like can you track that at all? Do you have any kind of mechanism to track?
No, I mean, all you can know is how many you've sold. And this is one thing I should say about the KDP, the Amazon KDP. It's amazingly transparent reporting. So I can tell how many books I've sold every hour, basically, which is fantastic. Well, not every hour. I mean, I can see them going, changing every day, and the reporting goes down to that level. Yeah. So I can see how many I've sold versus how many reviews there are. But most people don't write reviews in general, but what you can put at the back of your book, which I suggest people do, especially if you're writing a series, is you say, I hope you enjoyed Prophecy. If you did, please write a review. Click here to go to the page. And a lot of people will do that. The other thing, which is critical for any online marketing, is list building. So you need to have a place on your website where people can sign up for your next book, so that when you have your next book to market, you have a list of people who are ready and waiting.
Yeah.
So that's like online marketing 101 is build a list.
Yeah, most authors don't know that. I work with authors every day. They don't have that clue. They don't have, I want to sell online. Great, where's your list? I got one person. What do you mean you got one person? Like, build it.
Exactly.
Okay, here's a technical question for you that I'm just ignorant of. If I put in the back of my book, click here to go do a review, does that mean that page is already in there? And how do I know where that page is if I haven't uploaded the file to create the page? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, no, I create the page first. So I'll create so I have joannapenn.com, which is for my fiction fans.
Right.
So I have joannapenn.com/arcane, which is my series, Arcane with a K.
And you forward that.
Yeah, and then I just put my little I use Aweber to do my list management, and I've just put my little sign up in my page, and then in my Kindle book I just put a hyperlink to that page.
Okay, so the hyperlink on the page of your Kindle book will take people to a sign up page or to a comments page on
to a sign up page.
Okay.
Or if I say leave a review, it takes them to the review page. So what's great about ebooks?
But where is that review page?
I take them back to Amazon for reviews. Take them back
on, but that Amazon page isn't set up until. Like here's what I'm thinking. If I was to do that, I would put a link to my page, to my site, and I would do a 301 redirect to Amazon once it's set up. Is that
okay? No, I see what you mean. But basically, you're right. The first time around, you could direct them to your site. But equally, what you can do with KDP and what you can do with Scrivener, and we talked about that in the first video, is you can easily create a new version of your file and upload it, which it takes you no time at all if you do it yourself.
Okay.
So you just change it, and so Pentecost I released over a year ago. When I published Prophecy, I went to my Pentecost files and I added in the link to Prophecy at the end. So now if someone buys Pentecost, it says, if you enjoyed this, click here to buy Prophecy right now.
So that's why you're raving about Scrivener, because those kind of things usually take I've got books through Lightning Source that get distributed through Amazon and everything else.
Print is another thing.
Oh yeah, and that's it's cost me $75 plus all the downtime and all the other stuff. So it's but okay.
Well, I mean we did mention a bit about this. But I really personally am moving away from print. When I did print, I have done print. I like print. I no problems with print. But 99% of my sales of my own books are ebook. Yeah. So for me, having a print book is kind of a vanity option. It's for my mom, it's to put on my bookshelf. But for me, my income comes from ebooks. And then taking control of my own ebooks through Scrivener is empowerment. And as I said, it's all about empowerment.
That's great.
So did you want to come back on marketing?
Yes, let's go back to marketing. How do you build your list?
Okay, so for me, I very much focused on, first of all, blogging, and I should say I started blogging way before I wrote fiction. So for me, I've kind of had to start a second site to talk about my fiction side. But I've built up an audience through blogging, through doing guest posting, doing videos, doing audios like this, Twitter. Have been my main things, but really the important thing is for people to remember is you have to get off your site and go somewhere else. So I'm on your show talking to your listeners. So people have to make the effort to get off their own site and go visit other people's, if that's a guest post. So I've got a whole load of guest posts coming out soon, or doing an interview, doing videos, being different places and then bringing people back to your hub is kind of the important thing. So you do need that hub, but it's also critical to get out there and do stuff.
That's great. I've got anyway. I'm just lamenting RevTrev right now because I've got all these things ready to go and I'm transferring the sites and it's crazy. I got
I think
Don't
people
get too
do.
successful as a blogger, because then you need a bigger hosting account, and that's just
Yeah.
brutal.
Well, it is interesting. It can be overwhelming for people. So that's why I say focus on your book first,
Yeah.
and then think about your site. Although I also believe, kind of at the same time, that you should have built your audience before you get there. But if you don't have a book, you have nothing to sell. So
Yeah.
there has to be a balance.
So what's one piece of advice, just how encourage someone today, like they're thinking about doing up their book. They're all excited now about doing it on the Kindle, and they're going to purchase. Is Scrivener just for the Mac, or
No, it's PC as well.
is it PC as well? Okay, so they've purchased Scrivener, and they what's your word of hope for them? What's you know
Well, I think what's exciting to me is that there is no limit to what you can achieve as someone who wants to create and communicate. How it goes and how many people it reaches is really partly to do with how good the book is and partly to
Yeah.
do with your marketing efforts. So don't expect to just write a book, put it on Kindle, and then expect the money to come rolling in.
Yeah.
But the exciting thing is that you can have your book out there. So if people have written a book on, I know you have people who have ministries all over the world, maybe someone in Uganda has written a book about Uganda and wants to put it up there. You can do that. There's no rules as to what you can do. I really urge you to look at what you want to create and be professional about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the exciting thing is you can do it, and there's no one to say, no, sorry, there's no market for that, which is what traditional publishing may well say to someone with a ministry in Uganda. Sorry, there's no market in that. But for you, you can do that. You can tell your story. You can communicate your heart and your message, or your books, to other people through these platforms. So yeah, don't be scared. Give it a go.
That's great. Thank you so much, Joanna. When we come back next time, we're going to talk about your book Prophecy and about the whole series. I'm excited by it. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
This episode has been brought to you by Expectancy Press, resources that impart hope and empower destiny. What do you do when bad things happen? You can thrive with the Live Positively resources at revtrev.com.